Welcome to my channel. This is Divested Diamonds. You have arrived. Well, ladies, I think it's time for us to have a little chat. Well, I'll do most of the talking, you're going to do the listening, and we'll see each other in the comment section. You know what I mean. Now, I know that a lot of you ladies who are subscribed to my channel are divested, and it's so good to see that. And the reason I know this is because I can tell by the comments that you make. Some of you are indeed divested. I do read all the comments, by the way, and majority of you are consistent with your points and stand in your convictions. I really appreciate that. A lot of you are actually doing the work and divesting. And I'm so proud of you, ladies. I'm proud of us as Black women. It's been a long time coming. It's so wonderful to see Black women making such improvements in their lives. Being a divester is beautiful, especially once you get to the finish line. It's satisfying. But even then, the work doesn't stop there because unlike many things, divestment is not a trend. It's a way of life. Now, I understand that some of you ladies are on different stages of divestment, and that's okay. Everything over here is a work in progress. Continue doing the work, and you will see the results. I promise you that. What we need to do is keep the conversation going, share our experiences, and let those who are new to this lifestyle know that this is somewhere that they could come and just be themselves. It's like I said in a previous video, divestment isn't about dating white men, as some of these uninformed YouTube groups would say. It's about putting yourself first, ridding yourself of all negative aspects of your life. Basically, being the best version of yourself away from all toxicity. It's walking away from those situations that no longer serve you. Unfortunately, it has become very confusing for those who are new to divestment. The reason I keep repeating myself with this message is because I have noticed a lot of people trying to change the definition and direction of divestment. There are a lot of disingenuous people trying to derail those who are truly interested in divestment. I had someone ask me recently if divestment was still a thing and were there levels to it. And I said, yes. My goodness, absolutely. Part of the reason I know this is because there was a small group of ladies a few years ago who started this movement, and I was part of that group. What I have noticed is most people on this platform keep conflating swirling and divestment. And like I said last time in a previous video, the two are not the same. I have already given the definitions, so I'm not going to bore you with any of that. However, I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that there are people in this space who talk divestment, but are far from it themselves. It has become somewhat of a trend to make videos about it, to pull in the crowds, get the clout, the cash apps, the super chats, and so on and so forth. There's a tendency for content creators in this space to change their whole platform based on what they believe to be trending. In previous years, it was swirling. There were a lot of people who would make videos going in on swirlers. And just the attachment of the word swirler to a title could bring clicks and views to a channel. There were people who saw this and dedicated their channels to attacking swirlers, calling them coons, self-haters, bed wenches, It's the usual low vibrational nonsense that we have come to expect in certain parts of YouTube. I know that some of you are aware of this. You are aware of what's going on, and you can separate the fake from the real. But there are those of you who are simply looking to divest, but don't know which channels are the real deal. And I understand that. I understand it because it's very confusing. There are way too many mixed messages. The only thing I'll say about that is use your better judgment and be cautious from whom it is that you're getting your information. If someone sits on a panel and talks to you about the depravity of men in your so-called community, does a whole live stream telling you to divest from these men because all they bring is death, destruction, negativity, and pure degeneracy, and then proceeds to tell you how she doesn't see herself being with anyone else but those very men, does that person sound divested? When a person is dedicated to telling Black women that Black men are toxic, stay away from them, but goes ahead to tell you, the audience, how she likes Black peen and will never give it up. What does that sound like to you? I think we can all tell that people like that are using divestment talking points to get ahead in this space without being divested themselves. I mean, you can't really get upset at someone like that when they come up with a follow-up video telling you basically to put your tears away because they never told you that they were divested to begin with. The thing is, if you listened carefully, you wouldn't be upset because their very actions and words highly suggest that they are not a divestment channel. You cannot be divested if you are willing to interact with and entertain the very group of men who are bringing toxicity to your lives. It's a fallacy. And again, divestment isn't about who you sleep with. But if the person or groups of people you're being intimate with are toxic and give off that toxic energy, you don't need to be dealing with that. You cannot continue to create soul ties with people who possess demonic entities. Leave those people alone. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was falling for the okie doke. Men of other races talking to Black women about what divestment is and why it is they need to divest. Let me ask you a question. Would you go to a community of a different race to teach them what they are or aren't doing correctly? And how do you think that community would receive that information? How do you believe that they would take someone of a different community coming into their space, giving them, quote unquote, advice on how they can do better? The truth of the matter is, you wouldn't dare, would you? And I know that us as Black women have been treated quite poorly by men who look like us. But we need to be careful when people of other races come into our spaces using Black women's talking points to get us to see what we already know. Repackaging our talking points and selling it to us when we are the ones living the experience. Black women, I know, and it's not lost on me, that some of us can be suckers for men of other races giving us compliments without seeing what's right in front of us. It's easy to fall for other bullshit when you have been living in it for a long time. How is a man living almost 4,700 miles from the United States so empowered and comfortable talking to Black women whose culture he doesn't even understand? Are Black women so attention deprived that they will confuse any kind of attention for admiration, especially when that attention is coming from a man of a different race? You know, the best thing that ever happened to Black women was social media. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but it's both a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that we are able to communicate across borders, racial lines, and share our experiences as human beings by bonding on our commonalities. The curse, on the other hand, is that when we sit online and talk about our issues, there is nothing private about it, and we don't know who's listening. Therefore, it's easy for people to come into our spaces pretending to be something they're not and benefiting financially off of our trauma. How are you going to sit on the internet and use divestment talking points when you don't understand what divestment really is? Like I said earlier, we have to use our own judgment when it comes to vetting who is genuine and who isn't in this space. We need to continue working on ourselves so we don't allow people to take advantage of our vulnerability. One thing about true divestors, contrary to popular belief, is that we are not in the habit, we are not in the business of worshiping anyone over here. You need to understand this. It's hard for people to define who you are when you stand in your own truth. Such is the beauty of divestment. On that note, I'll leave it there. Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, divestment is a lifestyle, not a trend. Thank you so much for watching. This is Divested Diamonds, and I'll see you next time. Bye, diamonds.